Oh, God. Well, let's get this over with. Coming March 20th, 2025, a blatant ripoff of YASUKE Simulator, Assassin's Creed Shadows. Yeah, I bet you guys can't wait to pre-purchase this game. It only costs $70 for more Ubi slop. Now, guys, before we get into it, I want to make sure that we read the forum rules to make sure that we're practicing appropriate online safety. Yes, flaming and trolling, referring to creating threads for the sole purpose of causing unrest on the forums. Unrest, causing disturbances in forum threads, chats, or game lobbies, such as picking fights, making off-topic posts that ruin the thread, insulting other posters. Yeah, you guys better not be causing disturbances in an online forum, making posts designed to or likely to get inappropriate responses. You don't even have to troll. If you get inappropriate responses, you are responsible because your post was likely to get them. Posts of this nature will be removed, and if persistent, can lead to a forum ban. You know, I'm recording this on the 13th. I wonder how many of you have already been banned from this forum. I'm willing to bet that Ubisoft is cracking the whip on their Janny team to make sure nobody has any fun in these forums. Pour one out for all the real ones who have already been banned from this board. Jess starts a new thread titled, "I am sick of the hate. This game is going to be decent. I call it." Also, we're dealing with pretty much a borderline fictional character here. Let Ubi cook YASUKE as they want. First reply, Sylvie writes, "It's still controversial when it comes to Japanese culture. Cats and Crimus, who pre-ordered the game, received 5 clowns for this." He writes, "Understatement of the year. Don't forget what Valhalla did. Unexpected blindside across the planet. Proved all of the critics wrong and made the harshest of YouTube critics realize that nothing they said meant a hill of beans to consumers. When humans want pretty pictures, they buy. No internet warrior can stop them. You can fully expect a rinse and repeat of Valhalla's performance, considering that this game is better than Valhalla in every way. It may not have Goliath's Steam numbers, but don't be fooled by that. Everybody wants a piece of this game, even the people telling you that they don't. Gamers are the worst liars because they are addicts, addicted to playing video games that look exactly like this one. Even though there are very few games that look as beautiful as Shadows, it's going to fly off the shelves. Hotcakes across the globe." All right, I have a feeling we're going to be seeing this guy quite a bit throughout the course of this video. And so let's play the game of Is He Trolling? Now, very important piece of information, he did pre-order the game. So there you go. I am saying no. I'm saying this guy's genuine, but all good trolls have me convinced from the very beginning, and then 20 minutes later at the end of the video, I realized they were trolling me the whole time. So I'm saying he's genuine. So take your bets. Well, we already have our first ban, whose post is quoted in a reply. So you can see the reply by 50 Shades of Gandalf the Grey, but his post isn't here anymore. So he got swept up. 50 Shades of Gandalf the Grey writes, "This will age well, I'm sure. Weren't you the guy claiming Avowed was revolutionarily good, and that the new Civ would remain on top sellers for the next decade, and that Veilguard was Game of the Year material? Does being the Jim Cramer of gaming predictions ever bother you? Are you ever correct about literally any of your proclamations? P.S. Valhalla was mid, and its commercial success largely due to the fact that 3 billion people were forced to remain at home for months because of the China virus. In your defense, I did buy it though, for exactly that reason, though it was boring enough to never bother finishing." And of course, the Ubisoft Jannies looked at this and they said, "Get him out of here. That is a ban-worthy post. We do not want this kind of toxic negativity and flaming in our perfect forums."
Get that ass banned. Get that ass banned.
Big Mama replies to 50 Shades of Gandalf the Grey, "Because they're just parroting what their favorite Kotaku journalist said on Blue Sky. Their positivity isn't genuine, but propaganda." Wait, that's where all the sane people are though. That's what we learned in the last video. The most sane people on the internet are on Reddit and Blue Sky. Get it through that thick skull of yours, chud. Nezuko Pizza Delivery writes, best Assassin's Creed ever. Can't wait to play as Yasuke. He's so handsome and awesome and cool and lovely with an anime emoji. Nezuko was given 4 clowns for this post. Lorex replies to Sylvie, when did it claim to be realistic? Do you actually think that Abstergo and the assassins were real people? Lol. Yeah, it's not real, chud. It's literally pixels on a screen. Why are you getting so worked up? Just Drop, who was banned, replies to Lorex. People slagging the game are conflating the "it's historical" comment and applying it subjectively to Yasuke, while also disregarding everything about the games that aren't historical to push a narrative. There's ulterior motives for doing this. Adahan Gorion, who is a banned user who had his post deleted, writes, average mainstream console-centric action-adventure without soul from Yves & Co. Nah, I will pass. Just Drop, who was banned, given a clown, writes, then leave? I don't like something so much I'm going to spend hours of my day dedicating myself to the discussion of it. It's 2 lines. It's not hours, it's 2 lines. Also, Just Drop, if we're gonna go back here, let's go to the forum rules. Flaming trolling. This is causing a disturbance in the forum thread. You're attacking a user specifically. You're telling him to leave. And then you're mocking him? You're flaming him. This is a violation of this rule, sir. He's also naming and shaming him. I didn't even see this rule. Jesus. I don't know, Just Drop. This is a pretty problematic post. Just Drop, who was banned, double posts. He writes, it's not a debate forum. It's a discussion forum. You're not putting forth a debate. You're stating you're not going to buy the game. You have no interest in the game, so go somewhere else and leave it for those that do.
No, I don't think I will.
Aikoku Senshi writes, leave the multi-billion-dollar company alone. Jinx the World writes, the game is gonna fail financially. Based on what I'm seeing, I do expect the game to hit around 5 million global sales due to console. However, they need to triple that for this game to be a successful. Word of mouth is still the best seller, and the word is Ubisoft makes mediocre games. Always average, never terrible or exceptional. Unlike the majority of people on here, I work in retail and see and talk to a few hundred people a day. The sad reality is, around half the people I talk to that play games even know that this game exists. LeMayo. I think Just Drop is arguing with a user that had all his posts deleted, but he's not quoting him. So we just see Just Drop spurging out and then nothing else. Very fun. Jinx the World replies to Just Drop, 5 to 6 million is breaking even. The game would be successful with 10 million sales. However, for Ubisoft, it will mean nothing. Hence why I said, unless it hits 15 million, it'll be a financial failure. Their stocks are worthless and the company is a few billion in debt. Yeah, Ubisoft is not doing so hot right now. And I think even the most optimistic sales projections of Assassin's Creed Shadows aren't really gonna move the needle for them. And I don't know how much this game costs to make, but man, it would be a hard sell to convince me or anyone that this game is gonna make any money at all, much less enough money to save Ubisoft. I don't know. It's dark times for Ubisoft. I personally don't care. I like The Division 2, but that's really about it. And I don't really play that anymore. That's the only Ubislop I've consumed recently, and Ubisoft releases games and I don't know, I just don't care. Pender Bloodfart writes, they forced Wikipedia to change history for this game. Did they? That's the first I've heard of it right here. Wouldn't surprise me though. Wikipedia has not been known to stand on principles and truth when money gets waved around. Lue writes, playing this game made me finally start learning Japanese after a life of watching animes and reading mangas. It's not insulting Japanese culture. If anything, it's honoring it a lot more than any Japanese games I've played, and I played a lot of them. Made me learn a lot of stuff about the lore and day-to-day culture of ancient Japan that I didn't knew about, despite all the content from Japan that I've consumed. Well, the problem with this, Lue, is if you're not Japanese, you don't get to just say this. Like, if you're not Japanese, you don't really get to decide what's insulting to them and what's not. And the only thing I've seen from Japanese people about Yasuke Simulator ripoff is that it is very insulting to them and it does not respect any part of their culture whatsoever. They are not happy with this.
And they have the inside track for any job
I got this one, Aisha. They have the inside track for any job they want.
Silly Fox writes, if you're sick of the hate, then be quiet. Hestia's Bestia replies to Pender Bloodfart, pure delusion. Wikipedia editors don't work for Ubisoft. Well, if they don't work for Ubisoft, then there you go. It can't be true. Jess replies to Silly Fox of the OP. He writes, no, because every time I check these forums, there's always somebody trying to bring up how much of a disaster this game will be or how woke it is. This has to stop, he said, bumping his own thread. I'm on to you, Jess. I'm on to you. It wasn't for nothing. Look at all these clowns you received in the OP. Very nice. N1 Claren writes, it's not gonna be decent. It's gonna be S tier. Aikoku Senshi replies to that. Don't ask questions. Just consume product
And then get excited for next product.
Just Drop writes, a lot of the old detractors have hidden their groups, but recent ones like Noctocula's show they're in Sweet Baby Inc. detected. Literally guilty of what they accuse others of, creating a narrative in their safe space and spreading it en masse. I recognize the name of Noctoculus, I just didn't recognize the picture. So it was kind of a surprise to see this guy name drop, because I swear he was in like the Concord forums or something. I don't know. Little suspicious. Rorschach writes, the fact that other people's opinions on a product make you feel sick sounds like you need therapy. Just Drop. This is like his 20th post in this thread, and we're on page 3. He replies to Noctoculus, go back to the Dragon Age forums. You're figured out here already. You've been outed, Noctoculus. Run for the hills. Ragnar Random writes, at the end of the day, none of this controversy is going to matter. The majority of gamers don't follow this stuff or care about culture war nonsense. If the game is fun to play, it will succeed. If it's not fun to play, it will fail. That is the only thing that matters to 90+% of gamers. We're talking about the history of Japan, but Well Tall 8000, who pre-ordered the game, finishes his post with, yeah, this game isn't going to bomb. Well, you heard it here first, folks. Ragnar Random writes, just go play some other game then, if it bothers you so much. Why do you care so much about Ubisoft, about AC Shadows? What is the point of putting so much time into convincing us that Yasuke was not a real samurai, and that his samurai status actually matters at all to our enjoyment of the game? Why are you so dead set on on this game? Can't you just go enjoy something that you enjoy and leave us alone so we can enjoy what we enjoy? You could just play the game. It's a single player game. Boss Man writes, it's considered cool to hate on Ubisoft, and that's why people do it. It's the same deal with Diablo 4 and the entire D4 bad memes surrounding it. People like to jump on trends because it makes them feel like they belong and are cool as well. Their favorite streamer / YouTuber said X, and the follower feels like he must agree. I am confident the game is going to be enjoyable for the vast majority of people. Yeah, guys, if you agree with me on everything in perfect lockstep with me, your favorite streamer / YouTuber, then you are cool. How does it feel? Well Tall 8000, who pre-ordered the game, writes, I do often like to wait for reviews, but in this case, I have seen enough gameplay to where I think I have a general feel of the game. At least enough to where I know it is something I want now and worth it to not wait. When it drops, I will be playing it. Ragnar Random writes, just look at his profile pic. It's a friggin' redneck flag. Newsflash. You guys lost that war. King of Lols, who was banned, writes, I'm always right. Game is bad. End of story. Ragnar Random writes, I'm always right. Effing Trump voter for sure. He was clowned for that. King of Lols replies to that, I'm not even American, but yeah, I like the fella. He funny and based. Ragnar Random replies, you're not American, but you are banned. We got banned for saying Trump is funny. Of all the things to be banned for. You know, I don't remember reading that in the rules, I'll be honest. Where is the where is it? Where is it? Is it naming and shaming? He said Trump was funny. Stay on top. Oh, it was an off topic. Okay, I see. Yep, sounds good to me. Definitely bannable. Generic underscore SN writes, this is truly going to be one of the games of all time. On page 8, replying to nobody, Daredevil writes, God. Now the preceding walls of text, I actually agree. Green Goblin writes, the game has already been fully leaked as people have had physical copies for over a month. Game is bad, but not terrible. A 5 out of 10 doesn't really make the $90 cost worthwhile. Wait 2 years when it's $5 for the game and all its DLC. Gran Torino writes, Ghost of Tsushima from Temu. I would like to present a counterpoint to Gran Torino. I think this game is more like we have Yasuke Simulator at home. Moses writes, my favorite part of this whole thing was Ubisoft announcing they were only going to accept criticism and opinions from Japanese people. How about Ubisoft show they aren't hypocrites and remove everyone from the development team that doesn't have Japanese ancestry? If non-Japanese people don't get to have an opinion, and of course, they're just referring to white people, then why should a bunch of non-Japanese people make a game about that culture? So go ahead, Ubisoft, back up your own words. You won't though, because beta liberal men can't even exist without being hypocrites. They tried to pander and got called out for it, and it's a beautiful thing. More people are avoiding going to the movies, people are canceling cable TV, the election was a landslide in favor of a conservative way of thinking, and virtually nobody pays attention to the mainstream media, as those in the media are the only people in the US with a lower trust rating than even politicians and lawyers. What does this all mean? It means the woke con is on its deathbed. People have figured it out and want nothing to do with it. Ubisoft going bankrupt is yet another example of this. Just drop, right? People posting diatribes about their political ideologies. Leave. No. Shatoku writes, sick of the hate? How do you think people who are legitimately offended feel? Yeah, that's the thing, Shotaku. We don't care. You know, I'm gonna editorialize for a moment. These companies do not care. They don't care about your political movement. They don't care about your representation. They don't care about your heckin' stunning bravery. They care about your money. I think I've mentioned this in a previous video, but Alaska Airlines, one of the most liberal, progressive airlines ever to exist, used to hand out prayer cards with Bible verses on them up until like 2013. Look it up. They don't care. They want your money. And Alaska Airlines, I'm not trying to call them out specifically. They don't care about the progressivism that they're talking about now, just like they didn't care about the conservatism they talked about 20 years ago. They want your money and nothing else. It is amazing how many people do not understand that after all these years. They don't care. Ubisoft does not care about the Japanese people. They don't care about the American people. They don't care about the French people. They don't care about your heckin' brave progressive ideology. They don't care that Trump won. They don't care about any of this. They want your money, and they will say whatever they need to say to get you to open your Velcro wallet and give it to them. So to respond to Shotaku, they do not care. Consume product, end of story. Well, Tall 8000 replies to that. Offended about what? I don't know, man. Just make something up to be offended about at this point. Who cares? Hashtag Falcons writes, remember when playing games was all about having fun? Just buy the game and play it if you like the look of it, or don't. If you're too bothered about the politics of a video game, you either need a new hobby or do something more with your free time. It's a video game you play if it looks interesting, not a political debate. I'm buying it because AC has been a comfort game for me, and I always find them a fun distraction from real life. It's really not that deep. Just play games you think look fun and avoid ones you don't. That's the whole point of gaming. Imagine Ilyar, who pre-ordered the game, writes, YouTube haters have made me not play games in the past. YouTube haters have made me not play games in the past. Then I decided to try anyway, and I really loved the game. Remember, YouTubers post whatever will give them the most views, and right now, hate sells better than hype. Just give me the views! Solo writes, all Ubisoft games are garbage lately. Hard pass. Jesus is all you need writes, I'm voting with my wallet. No buy for me. No one will guilt me into buying anything with the name calling. Weetall 8000 writes, what name calling? You know, I made it to the end of this thread. It's 11 pages. I've spent way too long on this thread. But this was pretty interesting almost all the way through. So shout out to posting this thread. This is very entertaining. The current last post is by Shaman King. He's replying to Imagine Ilyar. True. I would be very ashamed of myself if I was one of the YouTube hets. I hate them with passion. They are just random YouTube pepegas, and they call themselves some kind of creators? What a noobly name for selling out about other products. Who even watched that, idiots, anyway? Do I need someone to tell me if I like something or not? I played every AC game apart from like Mirage because I don't like the setting and I love them. Do I need some Pepe Gizmo YouTuber to tell me I don't like the game? Even friends, if I say I play AC games, tell me why I play, they suck. I tell them I love the games. Odyssey was great and Valhalla is more grindy and England is great, but I don't like Asgard too much, ... And they play games I don't like, but I can't tell them tier games suck because they are better rated on Steam, so happy face. Sounds good, Shaman King. Keep doing you, bud. Wow, if that's how every thread is gonna go, then, well, we're gonna be here a while. Black99 starts a new thread titled Yasuke wasn't really a samurai. Wow. Wait till you find out the order of the ancients and the hidden ones have never even existed. This is historical fiction. It's not a documentary. First replies by Space calling out the OP for duping a post. Let's take a look. Yep, sure enough, word for word. And this guy got about 10 awards for this. You can't really blame him. We'll come back here in a moment. Ryudo writes, YouTube is not a reliable source. Yasuke was a samurai and historians are very clear about this. Time for you to exit the alt-right incel echo chamber. And then post a link from www.thegamer.com about how there is no doubt that Yasuke was a samurai. Consider yourself debunked, Chudcell. They go back and forth. Ryudo writes, alt-right incel post. On one side, you have historians, and on one side, you have incels upset about a black guy in a video game. All right, let's go to this other one that it was copy-pasted from. This is from December 9th. Hey, first reply is Space on this one also. Well done. Rune writes, Ubisoft said Yasuke was a samurai. So much so that they went in and edited Wikipedia before they announced him, and then got Wikipedia to censor and ban anybody requesting sources, as well as getting Britannica and other encyclopedias to do the same, and magazines to shill for them. We know Yasuke isn't real, but they don't, and are trying to rewrite history to make him a samurai because they realize how bad it looks to put an African slave in a Japanese setting. Noxby writes, Ezio didn't even exist. Wow. Demon Hero writes, then don't say stuff like Yasuke was a samurai. Deal with it. And one Claire in the OP writes, they are angry that Ubisoft is still going strong rather than burned to the ground. And one Claren writes, nobody is trying to say Yasuke was a prominent black samurai figure in Japan either. The Hearts? Space replies to that. Did you read any of the replies in this thread? And then post a link where it says, players will step into the roles of a Japanese shinobi now and in a series first, a real life historical samurai, Yasuke. Oh, we got a berries and cream quote. So berries and cream must have been banned from this board. Pour one out for berries and cream. He's a real one. He writes, it didn't happen. Noxby writes, so as a Christian, I have to be okay with punching a pope, but accepting a black person is a no-go? What? Galaxy writes, I need the kind of copium OP inhales. Sandman, who was banned, writes, yeah, just what I wanted. To go play a gay black man that wasn't at all a samurai in a game about ancient Japan. Eye roll. Inclusivity is killing culture, but hey, at least you identity-centric wieners get to feel good about yourselves because of insert mafifis. Leave it to a French company to hard up something so simple. It's a wonder why they're having to lay people off. Ryudo writes, I know this post is making fun of incels, but Yasuke was literally a samurai, so the incels are wrong even on that and have no leg to stand on. I Am Groot writes, wait till you find out that nobody gives a heart about Ubisoft and their uber woke POS games that are full of terrible characters, terrible writing, and an agenda that only 1% of the world cares about. Ubisoft is going bankrupt and they know it. This is why they delayed the game to 2025, but the damage is already done. Tencent will put an end to this whole heart of a company and hopefully create games that are full of beautiful women. And one Claire in the OP replies to I Am Groot, this game is gonna shoot up in the top sellers chart in February for sure. They delayed the game to improve it and deliver a more refined product on day one rather than release what they had and face backlash for they were about to fix anyway. It's the correct move. Keep hating. The only thing that really matters where you can dunk on the sales is how much money it made. I mean, I meme about the revenue, but they're gonna be like, dude, it made 100 million in revenue. Well, it cost 200 million to make. So who cares if it sold however many millions of copies? Of course, I just pulled both of those numbers out of thin air, but you get the point. It doesn't matter if it's the top seller if it doesn't make any money. Where's the money? Polly writes, this concept is laughably bad. Also spits in the face of anyone who's actually Japanese. It's dumb enough that the protagonist is under the banner of the Oda clan instead of the Hattori, of which, if you knew any Japanese history, are assassins by trade. But you play as the guy Oda dressed up in samurai armor as a joke amongst his cabinet members. And one Claire in the OP writes, y'all keep gooning over a bankruptcy that is never going to happen. AC is literally one of the top 5 most recognizable franchises in the world of gaming ever. Well, you heard it here first, folks. Ubisoft is not bankrupt. Little Fat Cat had his topic locked. He starts a new thread titled, if Yasuke was Japanese instead of African, would people care about his lack of assassin abilities? If he were Japanese and a samurai and his character was constantly at odds with Now for fighting without honor, would people care less and be more open to playing as him? I think I will play both characters, but just curious if people would be more inclined to play as him being limited to samurai abilities if he were a Japanese man and not African. The switch between two playstyles is intriguing and fits the universe of AC when you think of Templars being more of a warrior and assassins being more like ninja. Now is like an assassin while Yasuke is more of a Templar. And what if it had been William Adams as the samurai who accompanies Now instead of Yasuke? Would there still be a controversy? TLDR, people are closet istophobes and would not care about Yasuke being a samurai with no shinobi abilities if he was a Japanese dude or William Adams. First reply, Darksagurk, you can't replace Yasuke with any old Japanese guy. He's too important to Japanese culture and history. Stop proposing istophobic solutions to non-problems. Little Fat Cat replies, I didn't propose any solutions. I asked questions. Darksagurk replies to that, you're proposing ethnic cleansing. Apologize. That's how you do it right there. Just put all the pressure on him. Blizzard starts a new thread that was also locked, titled, not gonna buy this game. I will be skipping this game completely because how Ubisoft is busy deleting / censoring comments they don't like instead of making changes needed. No more Ubislop for me. I bought enough of their games to not tolerate this consumer unfriendly behavior. Grandmother CFO first reply, don't get hurt when you close the door. Katzen Krimis once again. He writes, you think this is bad? Try the Civilization forums. Donald has his hand taped to the ban button. Worst forum in all of Steam. You can always hang out with the cool kids on YouTube. Hey, shout out. We're the cool kids. I'm a cool kid. You hear that, Mrs. Johnson? You were wrong. I am one of the cool kids. It's a free-for-all over there. You can say anything that you want. Post lies about the game. Insult the Canadian developers. Hang the game in the village square. Start a petition. If you have that much hatred in your heart, it's easy to find another place to vent. Go outside and scream at the birds. They will hear you. Why? I didn't know this. Why did the dev team have to be Canadian? DMX in a deleted post and he was banned. Pour one out. He writes, I will be skipping this game completely because how Ubisoft is busy deleting / censoring comments they don't like instead of making changes needed. No more Ubisoft for me. I bought enough of their games to not tolerate this consumer unfriendly behavior. Wait, was this the what? Oh, it's just the OP copied and pasted and then he was banned, but then the OP is still up and his thread got locked. Okay then. Force Sensitive 4 starts a new thread titled Pre-Order Gang. Who else got the game? Ready for AC Shadows Day 1. Haters cannot boycott one of the well-known game franchise. Hoping that the story is much better than Valhalla and Odyssey. Among RPG AC, Origins still has the best story. First replies Kanji. He writes, never pre-ordering a Ubisoft game. I will buy it when the game is 50% off. If I could make a recommendation, you should maybe consider buying it 100% off. Elemento writes, nah, you're not getting these clown points. Well, Niman writes, Ubisoft literally being one of the worst AAA game companies out there. Stopped pre-ordering games a long time ago. Thanks for enabling these regarded business practices and hearted games. I would say they're one of the worst, but maybe not the worst. I think the worst goes to Activision. I don't know, Ubisoft just makes crap games and then overcharges you for them. They don't do anything actively anti-consumer, just passively anti-consumer. I don't know, I think Activision Blizzard's worse, in my opinion. Ubisoft might be close behind. I might not know enough about Ubisoft to have an informed take about that, but I think Activision's worse. Cats and Crimmins. We got a wall of text, boys. He writes, they have been for months. It's identical to the pre-release abuse that Valhalla took. That game took a public beating weeks before release from some of the most well-known YouTubers. Their sabotage efforts were fruitless. As soon as the game became an overwhelming success story, they all crawled back into their snake holes and kept their traps shut, as if nothing ever happened. Same thing will happen with Shadows. We've already got some of the harshest critics playing it and they don't mind it. A couple of them even compared it to Black Flag. Regardless, the Assassin's Creed franchise is one of the top 50 highest grossing video game franchises of all time. In fact, it's in 29th spot. Creed is like a runaway locomotive. Nothing will stop it. Certainly not a bunch amateur hobbyists with access to the internet. YouTube reminds me of film school. You get those wannabe filmmakers that have no talent. They make short films that are garbage, but they graduate anyway and then move on to other things because they can't get a job working in the film industry. That's what YouTubers are. Now, imagine those same people reviewing a video game. That's why the best YouTube videos are the ones with no commentary. We don't need to listen to those idiots speak. Just give us the footage, keep your mouth shut, and we'll decide for ourselves. You know, the reason, okay, I originally thought this was genuine. This account was genuine. However, there are some cracks in the armor, and there was one line in this post that kind of made me a little suspicious about this guy. This line right here, they don't mind it. How's that for a ringing endorsement? The flowchart is proceeding on schedule. Maybe a couple more posts and we'll be able to out Krasden Krimis as a dirty troll. I'm still unsure though. I still don't know. Fantas writes, pre-ordering is obviously a bad idea anytime, but pre-ordering a Ubisoft game is nuts. Ding writes, as a Ubisoft shareholder, I'd like to thank all of you for your loyalty. And as a Ubisoft shareholder, you got problems, brother. Ask Me About Jesus starts a new thread titled, Shadows is not nearly as woke as YouTubers would have you believe. Don't get me wrong, I'm about as conservative as they come, but a lot of the info being put out by YouTubers surrounding this game just didn't strike me right, so I did some research on my own. You are not forced to be gay in this game. It has multiple relationship options for both characters, just like Odyssey and Valhalla. YASUKE being black is a non-issue. Skin color really shouldn't matter at all, and him being a samurai in game is again a non-issue. It's a video game. Did people lose their minds in Valhalla because you could find Mjolnir and wield it? Ubi takes liberties in their games because they are fiction. I waited a long time to pre-order due to the negativity I was seeing around this game, but I finally did on Xbox, and dare I say it, I'm actually excited to play this. I think it looks leagues better than the first gameplay reveal. This post is not about the quality of the game. Whether you think it will be Ubislop or not isn't really the topic here. Just wanted to encourage people to do their own research before they contribute to Ubi failing and being bought out by what will most likely be even more greedy overlords if Shadows fails. Anyways, thoughts? Yes, do you guys have any thoughts on this? I have some thoughts. Let's do some translation here. Research on my own. Wikipedia. They are fiction. Of course they are. I should get credit for how long I waited before pre-ordering this game. I just want to encourage people to go on Wikipedia yourself and read the same articles as I did. I don't care if Ubisoft fails and gets bought out by somebody else I don't care about. Those are my thoughts. Ask Me About Jesus. Bruh, right? At least Yasuke is not getting railed from behind like in KCD2. Ask Me About Jesus replies to that we know of. iDot writes, I want to play as Yasuke, Steam happy, but I do not like spyware spying RAM, thumbs down. Smoke Trees writes, they probably use these delays to rework some of the more overtly preachy scenes. It's a shame really, as I'd love to see Yasuke wag his finger at the camera and tell the gamer chuds how slavery and Donald Trump are bad. Ragnar Random replies to that, I'll do it for them then. Slavery and Donald Trump are bad, Mr. Chud. Darksagurk referring to Yasuke as an African American. Oh, that is really funny. He snuck Yasuke is an African American into the post like it was an offhand comment. It's the funniest thing I've read in these forums so far. Just Drop is strafing this thread to let everybody know that this is a weak refuted talking point regurgitated yet again. Wait, what? This guy? Oh my god. Just Drop didn't even read the thread. He's just debunking anybody. Anybody and everybody is getting debunked. It doesn't matter. Main man writes, you mean it's to homophobic, dumb YouTubers are wrong in grifting their dumber audience into fake outrage? Yeah, how's it feel to be grifted, idiots? Stan writes, YouTubers have to get their viewers somehow, and since so many people already hate this game, they need to hate it too.
Thank you, you fucking worthless humans, for the view.
Just Drop writes, imagine being in Sweet Baby Inc. Detected and expecting people to take you seriously. All you are is the other side of the same ideological coin, spreading your misinformation and hatred for anything not like you. If Steam cared about doing the right thing, they'd eradicate every account following that cesspool of a group. D-Master2 replies to 2 separate walls of text. He writes, imagine getting in a student debt to study gender politics, LeMayo. Golf Lover 420, whose posts I can't find, writes, the Yasuke with Samurai is at its core woke. There's no way to separate them. Until about 10 years ago, it wasn't even a topic for discussion, considering the lack of evidence for such a claim. But then suddenly it started being brought up as a viable theory to make people of a certain demographic, probably not even directed at actual Africans, feel better about themselves. Not coincidentally, around a time, identity politics were really picking up. Videos started popping up all over YouTube about the first Black Samurai 3, revealing this historical fact. Arguments always tended to go back to Lockley, who admitted that he basically had to make most of it up and that his goal was to create a romanticization rather than stick to actual history. It's historical revisionism created by people who are so obsessed with skin color, they think merit and achievement is shared through it by simply having the same shade. And funnily enough, they then blame the people fighting back against historical revisionism of being obsessed with skin. I don't think one can argue it's not that woke when one of the protagonists was born directly from wokeness. Historical Yasuke was a figure with a sad life. I don't think people want a game about him. And for some reason, reading this post, it makes me think of Occupy Wall Street and how that happened and how that ended and how it turned into something else entirely. Nah, but I don't want to get into that. Let's just move on. Zircumflex writes, woke or not, it looks so bad. Even the trailer was full of bugs, glitches, and low quality content. This game is destined to fail, rightfully so. Just Drop replies to nobody, writes, you should try speaking to the manager. Why was this guy banned? It's a mystery. Ragnar Random, replying to nobody, writes, Trump sucks. Rad Solo Cup writes, this game is going to be great. Don't let others' opinions ruin it for you. They don't matter. They never planned on buying the game anyways. Just buy and play the game and be happy. I sure am. Then he posts an ASCII art emoji. You go, Rad Solo Cup. I hope you enjoy the game, bud. Stemmer 347 starts a new thread titled, The Creed Speaks When the Time is Right. My fellow assassin, apostrophe S. Prepare to rise on March 20 to 25th and show our unwavering support for Assassin's Creed Shadows and its incredible development team. Our enthusiasm and energy can make a difference. Let's demonstrate our dedication to the franchise and the developers who have worked tirelessly to bring us this new chapter in the AC saga. Hashtag support AC Shadows. Hashtag AC _ forever. Hashtag unstoppable _ Ubisoft. Nabuela writes, nice try, Ubisoft employee. Aaron89 writes, just put the fries in the bag, bro.
I make $5,000 a month, bitch!
Just Drop is here again. He writes, get your laughs in now. In less than 30 days, you'll be back under the rock you crawled out of. Man, this guy is everywhere. He's in like every thread. He's constantly commenting. Like every other post is from him. I'm not reading all of your posts, bro. We need to get some more diversity in these threads. Okay, all right. You know, I'm just gonna read it. Cats and Crimus writes, unstoppable is right. The legions of cynics will never be able to torpedo Quebec and Montreal's artists. Those two studios are the kings and queens of video game design in Canada. They are far too talented to be sunk to the bottom of the ocean. The jealous babies and YouTube offspring that camp out in video game forums these days, trying to cripple sales, bankrupt developers, and harass potential customers are a disgrace to this industry. To think that this hobby has attracted such an embarrassing group of youth. You could take any recreational hobby on the planet and you wouldn't have this much cyber warfare working against you, which will make the success of this video game all the more special. Prepare for another 200 hours of Assassin's Creed, 80 kilometers square. This is a troll, right? You are a troll, Cats and Crimus. You bought the game, but you are allowed to enjoy this game and also troll the Steam forums. You're allowed to do both. So I don't know. I will say I've read 3 posts, and each post I've been more and more suspicious that this guy's a troll. So well done. Well done, Cats and Crimis. I'm glad I found your posts. X-Promi starts a new thread titled Outpost Simulator. Will there be content in the game other than clearing outposts? I've looked at the available gameplay videos, and they are all about clearing outposts. No naval combat or exploring secrets. No mini games. All the 30-minute gameplay videos are about clearing outposts. Well Tall 8000 writes, what does the word simulator even mean anymore? Cats and Crimis writes, beats Fallout 4's settlement simulator. That game was pure hell. If anything, this game looks more like a Leonardo da Vinci / John Wick simulator. I would just like to note that Cats and Crimis correctly italicized the name of Fallout 4. I will say, if he had put 2015 or whenever this game came out, like in parentheses after the name, so he italicized the name and then put the year in parentheses after it, confirmed troll. This is suspicious but not conclusive. You put the year, you're a troll. 100%. Nobody does that unless they're memeing. Sharpened Razors writes, why would you expect naval combat in a shinobi / samurai game? This is not Black Flag. Fixo replies to that. There was actually a lot of naval combat in that place and time period. Lenny Face, who was banned, writes, Assassin's Creed are just melee versions of Far Cry games now. Every Ubisoft open world game is a Far Cry clone. It's all they know how to do. Go up high to unlock map, clear outposts, hunt animals, and gather plants to upgrade. All story missions are either go to place and kill everyone or go to place, sneak in, and grab the MacGuffin needed to progress the story. Oh god, I actually like Assassin's Creed 1 and 2, even though this is all you actually do, and it seems infinitely less interesting when it's laid out like this. I Feel Sane starts a new thread titled, just pre-purchase the deluxe edition of this masterpiece. Let's support Ubisoft. First reply, Bear. Let's not. Shiny writes, this is Ubisoft's Hail Mary. Oh, here we go. Cats and Crimis. Oh boy. All right, will this be enough to make a determination either way? Let's find out. Cats and Crimis writes, best looking Krieg game ever made. No question. And a monumental improvement over Valhalla. Considering Valhalla made the most money, Shadows is destined to outperform it. Another record breaker and commercial success story in the offing. Offing? Offing. Sure. Unfortunately, for the prophets of doom, this game's story is already written in stone. The Killjoys will not be happy when this game's financials are unloaded in their face. Hundreds of thousands of failed predictions. A shameful display. It's a troll. It has to be. It has to be. Gokuaman writes, you did great, happy face. It's going to be a wonderful experience for sure. Just like Valhalla or even better. Have fun. Kath replies to the OP with an ASCII art clown. Dude, just drop is in this thread. He's in this thread to say his piece again. Just give it a rest, bro. You're in every single thread. I guess the game isn't out yet, so I can't tell him to go play the game instead of wasting his time in the forums. But come on, man. At least I'm like kind of sort of getting paid for this. You're doing it for free. Running defense for the multi-billion-dollar corporation? Come on, brother. William writes, people pre-order games like they are going to run out. Clowns. He was not given any clowns for that. Sharpened Razors replies to Bear. He writes, and why not? It's a great company. Tazor starts a new thread titled, oh look, in-app purchases. Good luck whale hunting, Ubisoft. First replies Stan, optional. Old Sage replies to Stan, you are right, which OP did practice that by not buying. Thanks for pointing that out. Ray starts a new thread titled, make Yasuke parkour fast, an ability to stealth kill with a bunch of eye roll emojis. Mithranerduno writes, hello no. Yasuke is already too much of a Mary Sue. Sharpen Razors writes, it would make zero sense to have two characters if they just end up feeling the same to play. At that point, it would just be a reskin. I actually assumed that it was just a straight up reskin. Arknor starts a new thread titled, what do you think the peak player count will be on release day? I'll guess 100k, which I feel is quite optimistic. Sylvie first reply, roughly 10k or less concurrent player count. Rorschach writes, I made the numbers, and Ubisoft needs to sell 10 million copies to recover from their financial hole. Unless we see a 1.2 million player peak, same as Monster Hunter, it should be easy for Ubisoft. This game will be a flop. Well, I just would like to note, they not only have to dig themselves out of the Assassin's Creed Shadows hole, they have to dig themselves out of all the other holes that they have dug that has put them in massive debt and on the verge of, I don't even want to say bankruptcy, the verge of being sold off to Tencent for 10 cents. Somebody months and months and months ago wrote that all of Ubisoft is riding on Shadows. Shadows has to sell unbelievably well for Ubisoft to have any chance of existing at all. And I just don't think it's gonna. Barrick writes, it's hard to say. It looks like a trash game, but people who don't look into things will still see the game's name and some of the cool art and buy it. It will probably do better than it deserves, but not make up for the insane costs, considering how much they spent making the game. My guess is around 50K on Steam, but it could easily be higher. Delaney67 writes, my guess is 100 to 200K. AC is a massive series and most people aren't Japanese. Valhalla reportedly sold 13 million copies, so figure a baseline of 6 million and then plus or minus based on reception. Yeah, this is probably realistic right here. That's not even close to enough to make up for the cost of the game, and it's not going to pay down any of the debt that Ubisoft has been stacking. But honestly, this is better than it deserves. I don't think it will be as bad as Veilguard. Bill starts a new thread titled, despite the controversy, I will still be buying this game on launch. Sorry people who are upset by this, and I understand why, but open world Assassin's Creed in Japan with reference to ego with base building. Sorry, I am weak and it is a shameful display. Hodge writes, okay, have fun. Super Lloyd, who pre-ordered the game, writes, already pre-ordered, although life happened, and I have a bunch of pre-ordered games already released that I have not played yet. Damn, but I think I will jump on this one for sure. Although I can see some upcoming big real life happening at the same time. Damn. Okay. Cool, Super Lloyd. Thanks for sharing, bud. Esquilla writes, can't wait to play this wonderful game. I really love Ubi massive games, and this one will be something special given the circumstances. Excuse me, circumstances. My best wishes for you Ubi guys and for all of you Ubi game style lovers. Oh, by the way, I am pre-buying it here in the digital store, not at key retailers. Not this game, not this time. Of course, I have zero issues with those sellers. It is only that this time I want to give Ubi guys them all max support, you know? Esquilla did not pre-order the game. Hestia's Bestia writes, knowing that people are mad makes it more special. I can't believe you pre-ordered the game. I'm so mad! Sharpen Razors starts a new thread titled Game Looks Great and just pre-ordered. Just pre-ordered the game on the Ubisoft Connect launcher. This game gonna be great and all the haters and cry about it, TBH. That wasn't a noise reduction. All haters and cry about it, TBH. That's how it's written. I did nothing wrong. Cats and Crimus once again. He writes, jealousy. Those that can't afford it are all that's left at the doom and gloom party. It's their last desperate stand before release. There is nothing left to complain about. The footage of this game is breathtaking. No gamer in their right mind would make a conscious decision to avoid a video game that looks this spectacular. It's another surefire success story for Ubisoft Canada. I noticed that even the sourpuss YouTubers aren't beating it to death as much anymore. It's hard to brainwash your followers day after day and convince them all that the footage you are seeing is visual poison. Assassin's Creed, italicized by the way, is an unstoppable powerhouse. Shadows itself is nothing short of magnificent. This game is dressed to kill. Telling people not to purchase the best action adventure game of 2025 is insanity. That's like going to a car show and telling sports car enthusiasts that the McLaren is the ugliest car in the world. Intelligent people must see through the lies of YouTubers and forum degenerates like I can. Sales numbers of this Titan will prove that common sense still exists. 10 days. And of course, that was posted on March 9th, 10 days prior to release. He's very hyped. He is a troll now. I'm convinced. The flowchart was carried out on schedule. I thought he was genuine, and then I think this is post number 4 or 5. This is a troll. Well done, sir. Indal writes, I bet you and the other 10 people that are gonna buy this game are gonna really enjoy it. Ryudo writes, chuds are furious. Jinx the World writes, honestly, I'll be shocked if this game even hits 5K players on launch day. The actual sentiment around this game has been either meh or downright ew. LeMayo. Just Drop is here again. Big shocker. 9 days before Jinx and Golf disappear. I think Golf already got banned, so pour one out for Golf. Jinx is still hanging in there though. But the draconian censorship got to Golf. They got him, guys. Oh wait, Golf Lover 420. That was the guy with the Trump profile picture in the Yasuke Simulator. I remember that. I remember him. Yeah, definitely pour one out for him. He's a real one. Grandmother CFO starts a new thread titled titled Day One Club. There are soap operas in the comments. Here are players from day one onwards. +1. 6 clowns, 2 heartwarmings, 2 funnies, and a wholesome. Super Lloyd writes, I am not sure I understand, but I pre-ordered. Does that means I am a member? He was given a clown. Everybody's just posting +1s. Everybody post your +1s to get the Fell For It Again award. Now, I'm not going to read this, but there is a thread where Mustafa Kadir is saying he wants Turkish localization, and look at all these awards he got. There's probably 80 in here. Maybe not quite, but there's a lot of awards for Turkish localization. And there's 120 pages of this thread. Wow. Let's just like go somewhere in the middle. Let's go to page 5 and see what there is. We want Turkish language, +1, Turkish. We want it. Okay. Is this thread really just about Turkish language support? Is this just one of those things where a bunch of people are saying it, so people just come in to say the same thing because it's funny? So a bunch of you guys just come in and see that everybody's talking about Turkish language support, so then you also go in there and start talking about Turkish language support? Like this profile picture, this looks so familiar. N for Verdetta. I swear I've seen them around like Concord or Veilguard or something. Like, okay, now I'm convinced that's what it is. This is all LARPing. Pretty good LARP though, even though it's 120 pages. Let's go to the last page. Now it's just copy pasta. Oh my God. All right, well, you heard it here first. We want Turkish localization in Assassin's Creed Shadows. Oh, here's a good one. Alice writes, keep begging. Sarshi writes, lol, go and begging your mom to buy this game. Oh my God, Alice, get actually cooked. How did that feel? Zop here starts a new thread titled, My Nihon Fantasy is Ruined. My exquisitely curated anime waifu Kurosawa Ghost of Tsushima Shogun 2 Fantasy of Feudal Japan has been destroyed by a black samurai? My carefully constructed Nipponese paradise is tainted by a historical figure who dares to deviate from my racially homogenous vision of a country I've never visited. They claim historical fiction, but I know better. This is a blatant attempt to inject insert buzzword here into my sacred samurai lore. They're dismantling my cultural safe space by depicting a historical figure who actually existed. I've mainlined hours of reactionary YouTube charlatans, fortifying my outrage with expertly crafted echo chambers. I could ignore the game and play something else. But where's the fun in that when I can endlessly whine on the internet, seeking validation from my fellow basement-dwelling armchair historians? Besides, how else would I let everyone know I'm definitely not motivated by fragile egos and casual istophobiaism? Just drop. He writes, this is the most accurate takedown of the detractors I have seen in these discussions. Just drop is loving this. Trouser Duneworm writes, maybe it can eclipse Awoked and Failguard. All right, we're gonna give the last word to Steel Rain. He starts a new thread titled, Popularity of Assassin's Creed in Iran. Assassin's Creed is so popular in Iran that you can buy it from street vendors. Is this true? Yes. All right, well, that's gonna do it. There might be more where this came from. I don't know yet, but hopefully you got a nice cheap laugh out of that. Hopefully you guys are getting excited for Assassin's Creed Shadows coming out on the 20th. Very hype, but that's all I got for now. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.